It started as an ordinary Sunday afternoon in the quiet town of Maplewood, a place where everyone thought they knew everyone else. But behind closed doors, a secret simmered, one so powerful, so destructive, that if revealed, it could tear apart not just one family, but two. Imagine a love so forbidden, so entangled in lies and loyalty, that every decision carried the weight of heartbreak. What would you do if the person you loved most was the key to unraveling everything you held dear? Today, we uncover a story of forbidden love, tragic choices, and the dangerous consequences of hidden truths, the secret that could destroy two families. In 2016, in the suburban neighborhood of Maplewood, the lives of two well-respected families collided in ways no one could foresee. On one side, the Bennett family, known for their charitable contributions and pristine reputation. On the other, the Harringtons, a wealthy lineage with a powerful influence in local politics. At the heart of this drama were Olivia Bennett and Nathan Harrington, childhood friends whose bond slowly evolved into something far more dangerous. No one could have imagined that a single moment of weakness, a single secret exchanged in whispers, would set off a chain of events that neither family could survive unscathed. The morning after that fleeting, stolen encounter, Emma couldn't shake the image of Daniel from her mind. Every corner of her apartment seemed to echo his presence, the faint scent of his cologne lingering on her scarf, the quiet cadence of his voice repeating in her head. She wondered if it was madness, this obsession with someone she had known barely a week, someone whose life was already tangled in a web she wasn't supposed to touch. Yet the heart does not heed logic, and hers was beating in a rhythm that betrayed her every rational thought. She stared at the clock, the hours crawling by as if time itself was conspiring to test her resolve. How could one man make her feel so alive and terrified all at once? At the same time, Daniel's mind was a battlefield of conflicting emotions. The memory of her laugh, so full of warmth and reckless curiosity, refused to leave him. He kept replaying every fleeting touch, every accidental brush of hands in the quiet moments they shared at the gallery. But guilt gnawed at him. Emma was too young, too innocent in ways he knew could unravel if their secret desires were ever revealed. And yet, temptation had a way of whispering louder than morality, and he found himself drafting messages he knew he shouldn't send, imagining her replies with a mixture of longing and fear. Could he really risk everything, his family, his career, the fragile piece of his life, for a passion that the world would deem unforgivable? By afternoon, Emma had ventured out, walking the crowded streets of downtown, trying to distract herself with the mundane bustle of life. Shops were filled with chatter, cafes hummed with the aroma of coffee, and yet she felt apart, a spectator in her own existence. She found herself drawn to a quiet park bench, where the sunlight streamed in fractured patterns through the trees, casting shadows that seemed to mimic the turmoil in her chest. She closed her eyes and let herself imagine what it would be like if Daniel were there, if they could just exist in a world where nothing was forbidden. But reality hit like a sudden gust of winter wind. She could not, must not, allow herself to fall deeper into a love that society, and even her own conscience, would never forgive. Meanwhile, Daniel had taken a daring step he immediately regretted. He called Emma, the phone vibrating with each heartbeat in his chest, the screen lighting up with her name like a beacon of both hope and danger. Her voice on the other end was cautious, tentative, yet it carried an undercurrent of curiosity, a silent invitation that made his pulse thunder. I wasn't expecting to hear from you," she murmured, her words trembling as if she were aware of the unspoken tension between them. He wanted to reassure her, to tell her that the world outside could wait, that for a few stolen moments they could be free. But all he managed was a strained, "I couldn't stop thinking about you." The line went silent for a heartbeat that stretched longer than any day he had ever endured. Could she feel the same pull? Could she even allow herself to? Days turned into secret rendezvous, each meeting charged with an intensity that bordered on dangerous. In a quiet bookstore, they found a corner to escape prying eyes, fingers brushing over pages and over hearts. In the soft dim of the art gallery after hours, they lingered near canvases that depicted lovers and betrayals, their own story reflected in brushstrokes and muted colors. Every moment was laced with the thrill of discovery and the terror of being caught. Daniel's hands shook as he tucked a strand of hair behind Emma's ear, and she responded with a smile that was both daring and fragile, a silent acknowledgement that their hearts had crossed a line from which there might be no return. But secrets have a way of clawing their way into the light. Emma's best friend, Lucy, had begun to notice her distracted glances, the faint, dreamy smile that lingered long after phone calls ended. "You're keeping something from me," Lucy said one evening, the suspicion clear in her voice, the protective instinct of a friend mixing with the fear of the unknown. Emma forced herself to laugh, to disguise the tremor in her voice. "It's nothing, just someone at work," she lied, though the guilt of deception gnawed at her. She knew that hiding a forbidden love was a delicate act. One slip, one misstep, and everything could collapse into scandal, heartbreak, and irreversible consequences. Could she keep this secret from the world? Could Daniel? Meanwhile, Daniel faced his own peril. His family had started asking questions, noting the late nights, the distracted demeanor, the subtle changes in his routine. The weight of expectation pressed down like a storm cloud. Could he continue to meet Emma in fleeting, stolen moments without the walls of his carefully curated life crumbling around him? Could desire and morality ever coexist without one devouring the other? Each encounter was a gamble, each stolen glance a dagger aimed at the fragile boundaries of their separate lives. And yet, neither could resist the magnetic pull between them, the invisible threads that tied their hearts together despite the peril. Just when the tension had reached a fever pitch, a mysterious message appeared on Emma's phone, an anonymous text that hinted someone had discovered more than they should. Some secrets are too dangerous to keep. Her blood ran cold as she read and reread the words, her mind racing through all the people who might know. Her pulse quickened, not just with fear, but with the undeniable awareness that their love had crossed into territory where consequences were no longer theoretical. Daniel's name burned in her thoughts, and she knew she had to warn him, even as panic threatened to paralyze her. As night fell, the two met at their usual hidden spot, a quiet bridge overlooking the river, city lights sparkling like 1,000 distant promises. Emma's hands shook as she held Daniel's, and he could see the fear in her eyes. "Someone knows," she whispered, her voice breaking. Daniel's jaw tightened, and for the first time, the bravest, most reckless side of him faltered. How far had their secret already spread? Who had betrayed them, or was fate conspiring to bring their forbidden world crashing down? The wind swept around them, carrying with it the tension, the thrill, the inevitable collapse of the fragile reality they had built together. And as they clung to each other, hearts pounding and minds racing, neither could ignore the approaching storm that threatened to expose everything they had fought to hide. Could their love survive the eyes of the world, or would it shatter under the weight of suspicion, betrayal, and the secrets they were no longer sure they could protect? If this story has touched you so far, kindly comment, "I feel it." Share this story with all those who need to hear or watch it in your contacts. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVC and follow for more real-life, inspiring, emotional, and chilling stories on forbidden love. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to stay with us as this tale of desire, danger, and heartbreak continues to unfold. Olivia had always been the perfect daughter. Polite, ambitious, and loyal to her family's expectations. Nathan, equally polished and charming, carried the Harrington legacy on his shoulders. Their friendship was innocent at first, full of shared secrets and late-night conversations beneath the stars. But as they grew older, the intimacy between them deepened. By 2014, whispers of a secret romance began circulating among close friends, romance that neither family could ever approve of. The first spark of forbidden desire ignited one summer evening when Olivia attended a Harrington family gala. Nathan had been distant for weeks, yet the moment their eyes met across the grand ballroom, an unspoken connection surged between them. Their hands brushed, their hearts raced, and in that instant, the trajectory of their lives changed forever. The thrill of secrecy made each encounter more intoxicating. Stolen glances turned into private meetings in secluded gardens and deserted beaches. Every touch was loaded with danger, every kiss a potential betrayal. Their secret meetings continued for months, but the weight of guilt was ever present. Olivia knew her parents had carefully mapped out a marriage for her, a safe, respectable choice within their social circle. Nathan was engaged in political ambitions, with a public image to maintain. The thought of their families discovering the truth was unbearable. Still, neither could resist the pull that drew them together. Every stolen moment was charged with adrenaline, and yet, beneath the surface, tension brewed like a storm waiting to break. By the spring of 2015, the first cracks began to show. Nathan's fiancée, Isabella, began to sense a shift in his affection. Olivia's younger brother, Henry, noticed late-night messages and secretive behavior. Soon, rumors started circulating in Maplewood, and a journalist named Claire Edwards, known for her investigative reporting, started sniffing around. The danger wasn't just emotional, it was public. One wrong move, and the Bennett and Harrington families' reputations would crumble in an instant. The tension escalated when Olivia discovered she was pregnant. Panic set in. She confided only in Nathan, and together, they faced the impossible. Revealing the truth could destroy both families. Keeping it a secret meant hiding a life-changing reality. Every decision became a moral labyrinth, and the emotional strain was palpable. Could love survive when loyalty to family and society demanded betrayal? Could the heart's desires justify the potential ruin of everyone they loved? It was during one of their clandestine meetings that a confrontation occurred. Isabella, suspicious and relentless, followed Nathan to a secluded cabin where Olivia awaited. Words were exchanged, accusations thrown, and in that moment, the secret teetered on the edge of exposure. Olivia's hands shook, Nathan's jaw tightened, and Isabella's gaze was sharp, like a predator closing in. What would she do with this knowledge? Could she keep the secret, or would she weaponize it against them both? The emotional stakes had never been higher. Just when they thought they had evaded discovery, a message arrived on Nathan's phone. "I know everything." The sender was unknown, the threat unmistakable. Who had discovered their secret first? And more importantly, what would they do with it? Could two young hearts survive the wrath of families built on pride, reputation, and societal expectations? Every choice now was a gamble with lives, love, and legacies on the line. As the night deepened, Olivia and Nathan faced the inevitable. Their secret would not stay hidden forever. With every knock on the door, every unfamiliar shadow, the tension mounted. Would the families find out first? Would love survive the exposure? Or would the revelation destroy everything, and everyone they held dear? The answers were closer than they realized, and the consequences more unimaginable than their worst fears. This was only the beginning of a tale filled with heartbreak, forbidden desires, and life-altering decisions. What would happen when a single secret threatens two powerful families? Who would be betrayed, and who would suffer the most? If this story has touched you so far, kindly comment, "I need answers." Share this story with everyone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVC, and follow for more emotional, gripping, and shocking stories on forbidden love. Turn on the notification bell to never miss a revelation that could shatter hearts and families alike. The days that followed were a dizzying storm of passion, paranoia, and fleeting joy. Emma and Daniel moved like shadows through the corners of the city, their love a dangerous game they could not stop playing. Every glance over a shoulder, every sudden call from a friend or family member, sent waves of fear through them, reminding them that the walls around their secret were thinning. Yet in the rare, stolen moments alone, their connection deepened beyond reason. Words became unnecessary as their hands spoke the language their lips had only begun to understand. Every touch, every whisper, carried the weight of forbidden desire and the thrill of near catastrophe. Daniel found himself unable to focus at work, mind drifting to Emma as he walked the sterile hallways of his office, imagining her waiting at home, imagining her reading a book in the sunlit corner of her apartment, imagining the way her eyes would light up when he appeared. It was maddening, intoxicating, and terrifying all at once. He tried to maintain the mask of normalcy, but each passing hour without her presence felt like a betrayal of his own heart. Could he survive the days without feeling her warmth, without the stolen glances and subtle touches that tethered his existence to hers? Meanwhile, Emma's nights became restless, haunted by the shadow of discovery. She often lay awake, replaying the anonymous warning in her mind. Some secrets are too dangerous to keep. Her heart pounded with questions. Who could it be? Was it someone who knew Daniel's world, or had she been foolish enough to leave traces in her own life? Every notification on her phone made her jump, a simple ding sending shivers down her spine. And yet, despite the fear, she could not bring herself to pull away from the man who had become her heartbeat, her obsession, her forbidden solace. One evening, a sudden knock at Emma's door sent her heart into overdrive. She froze, her mind racing through possibilities, each more terrifying than the last. Daniel's voice in her mind pleaded for calm, yet even he knew that the shadow of exposure could be closer than either of them imagined. When she opened the door, it was not a friend, not a stranger, just a package. No name, no note, only the subtle weight of menace contained in brown paper. Her hands trembled as she tore it open, revealing photographs. Photographs of Daniel, of her, moments they had believed were invisible to the world. Every secret meeting, every kiss, every fleeting touch captured with chilling precision. Panic surged through her veins, the realization sinking in. Someone was watching, someone new. Could their secret survive this new threat? Or had the walls finally closed in around them? Daniel sensed the change the moment they met that night. Emma's eyes were wide, haunted, and the package lay between them like a damning testament to their vulnerability. Who could have done this? She whispered, voice trembling. He shook his head, a mixture of anger and fear igniting behind his calm exterior. Every instinct screamed to protect her, to vanish with her into a world where no one could interfere, but reality was relentless. Their love, forbidden and fragile, was now under siege by invisible eyes and an unknown hand. The tension escalated as they tried to continue their lives, the outside world oblivious to the storm building behind closed doors. At the gallery, Emma hesitated to walk down familiar aisles, imagining every passerby as a potential spy. Daniel's usually steady demeanor cracked under the weight of constant vigilance. They whispered in shadows, rendezvoused in abandoned parks and quiet alleyways, hearts hammering at the risk of being seen. Each moment was a test of courage, a gamble that one misstep could ruin everything. Yet, their love, wild, consuming, defiant, refused to be stifled. Then came the revelation that neither had anticipated. Lucy, Emma's best friend, confronted her one evening, a mix of accusation and concern in her tone. "Emma, I know you're hiding something, and I think it's dangerous," she said, eyes searching hers for honesty. Emma's heart raced, the carefully maintained facade beginning to crack. She could deny nothing. Lucy's intuition had hit the mark, and the fear of losing her friend weighed heavily alongside the fear of being exposed. Conflicted and desperate, Emma had to decide whether to trust Lucy with fragments of their secret or risk alienation from the one person who had always stood by her side. Could trust survive alongside fear? Could love endure the prying eyes of even the closest friends? Daniel, meanwhile, faced threats of a different kind. Rumors whispered in hushed tones at work, a shadow of suspicion lingering where none had existed before. A colleague had noticed his distracted demeanor, and gossip, like wildfire, had begun to spread. Each glance felt loaded with judgment, each question a veiled accusation. The danger was no longer abstract, it was tangible, pressing in on every side. Every stolen moment with Emma now carried the weight of potential ruin, yet neither could resist the pull, the magnetic connection that had ensnared them both in a web that was as thrilling as it was deadly. One fateful night, their secret world came dangerously close to unraveling. In a quiet cafe, a stranger approached, eyes cold and calculating. They knew the story, knew the people, knew the secrets. A conversation ensued, words carefully measured, threats veiled in politeness, promises that were anything but comforting. Emma's stomach twisted, and Daniel's hand tightened around hers under the table, their shared fear now sharper than ever. Could they escape this encroaching menace? Could love survive when every heartbeat, every glance, was under scrutiny? The line between desire and destruction blurred with each passing second. And just as the night seemed endless, a sudden realization struck them both, a betrayal from within, someone they trusted, someone whose loyalty they had taken for granted. Shock froze them, fear paralyzing their thoughts. How deep did the treachery go? Could the forbidden love they had fought to nurture withstand the looming shadows, the secrets being forced into daylight? Their hearts raced, yet amidst the panic, one undeniable truth remained. Their connection, fragile and illicit, was worth every risk, every tremor of terror, every whisper of desire that dared them to continue. As the storm of suspense and forbidden love reached its apex, Emma and Daniel faced a choice that could alter their lives forever. Would they surrender to fear, letting the outside world tear apart the fragile tapestry of their love? Or would they dare to embrace the passion that had drawn them together, even as danger lurked at every turn? Could love truly conquer all, or was their secret doomed the moment it had begun? If this story has touched you so far, kindly comment, "I'm invested." Share this story with those who crave thrilling tales of forbidden love. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVC, and follow for more gripping, emotional, and shocking real-life stories, turning on the notification bell to witness the next twist in this perilous journey of desire and heartbreak. The morning after the confrontation, Emma awoke to a city that seemed quieter, almost holding its breath, as if it, too, feared the consequences of the night before. The weight of the photographs, the betrayal from within, and the creeping suspicion that every friend, every colleague, might now be a threat, pressed down on her chest like an unyielding stone. Daniel arrived at her apartment, his presence both a comfort and a reminder of the precarious tightrope they were walking. They sat together in silence, hearts sinking to the rhythm of fear and longing, each glance carrying the unspoken question: could love survive the storm closing in around them? Days blurred into nights as the pressure intensified. Every whispered conversation, every subtle look, felt amplified through the lens of danger. Emma's friends began asking questions, seemingly innocent but sharp as knives in their precision, probing for answers she could not provide. Daniel's co-workers lingered too long by his desk, their idle curiosity now a threat, each innocent smile a potential trap. Their lives, once vibrant and full of possibility, had become a labyrinth of careful steps, coded language, and calculated gestures. Yet, despite the risk, the pull between them remained magnetic, irresistible. Forbidden love had a way of making fear feel exhilarating, and each stolen moment became more precious, more vital than the last. One night, Daniel received a cryptic message that made his blood run cold. The words were simple, yet loaded with menace. "We see everything. The truth will surface." Panic clawed at him, but he forced calm, knowing any sign of fear could accelerate the unraveling of their lives. He shared the message with Emma, and they spent hours poring over every detail, questioning every choice they had made, wondering who among their acquaintances could harbor such insight into their private moments. The realization that their love, once a secret pleasure, had now become a target for manipulation filled them with both dread and determination. They could not run forever, and the shadow of exposure loomed larger with every passing hour. Amidst the fear, an unexpected ally emerged. Sophia, a coworker Daniel barely knew, appeared with careful caution, offering hints and guidance on navigating the subtle threats surrounding them. She spoke of unseen eyes, of whispered rumors and delicate social traps, warning that those who seemed closest might be the most dangerous. Her presence was both reassuring and unsettling. Could they trust her, or was this just another layer of the web designed to entangle them further? Every gesture, every smile, became a puzzle piece they had to decipher, the stakes higher than ever before. Meanwhile, Emma's creativity flourished despite the tension. She began to channel her anxiety into her art, painting scenes of longing, despair, and secret passion. Each brushstroke captured the intensity of her emotions, a visual diary of their forbidden romance. Daniel watched her from the shadows, feeling both pride and envy, her talent a mirror of their love, beautiful, raw, and perilously exposed. Yet, even as her paintings brought temporary solace, the reality of their situation remained inescapable. Each exhibit, each public display, was a potential risk, and the delicate balance between expression and exposure haunted them constantly. Could they continue living in a world where their love demanded secrecy at every turn, or would the walls of society and circumstance crush their fragile joy? The tension reached a breaking point one evening when a phone call shattered their fragile calm. An unknown voice spoke with chilling clarity. "Your time is running out. Choices must be made." The threat was unmistakable, and the implications horrifying. They could no longer hide behind stolen moments and whispered promises. The shadows pressing against them demanded action. Emma and Daniel were forced to consider the unthinkable, confronting the source of the threat, revealing their love to the world, or abandoning the passion that had become the center of their existence. Each option carried consequences that could shatter lives, destroy families, and leave emotional scars that might never heal. In a desperate attempt to regain control, they devised a plan to meet their shadowy antagonist in a neutral location, choosing a quiet, abandoned park as their stage. The night was thick with fog, the moon barely piercing through the haze. Every rustle of leaves, every distant footstep, heightened the tension as they approached the rendezvous. Fear and anticipation mingled, their pulse synchronized with the rhythm of danger. Could they outmaneuver the hidden threat, or were they walking willingly into a trap from which there would be no escape? As they waited, the minutes stretched into what felt like hours, every second a test of courage and resolve. Then, the figure emerged, a stranger cloaked in anonymity, yet carrying an aura of undeniable power and knowledge. Words were exchanged carefully, measured, each phrase a delicate dance between threat and negotiation. The reality was undeniable. Their lives had changed irrevocably, and nothing would ever be the same again. Their forbidden love had become a battlefield, their passion both the fuel and the target. Could they survive this ultimate test of trust, love, and resilience? Or was this the moment that would finally destroy everything they had fought to preserve? And as the night deepened, the storm outside mirroring the turmoil within, Emma and Daniel understood one thing with absolute clarity. The secrets they had once guarded so fiercely were no longer theirs alone. The choices they made in the coming hours would define their love, their freedom, and perhaps even their very identities. Would they find a way to navigate the perilous path before them, or would the shadows of betrayal, fear, and societal condemnation finally claim their forbidden love? If this story has gripped you so far, kindly comment, "I'm captivated." Share this story with those who crave tales of taboo romance. Subscribe to Taboo Romance Stories TVC. And follow for more shocking, emotional, and gripping real-life stories. Turn on the notification bell to witness the final, breathtaking chapter of Emma and Daniel's secret world, where passion and peril collide like never before.